Hello everybody, I'm Meteorologist Gavin Sandel. At the end of each day, those who are outdoors tend to look towards the sky to get a stunning sight. I really like the view behind me, that's a disgusting one, but something a little bit more magical. Oh, just like this one. The mixture of reds, oranges, and other colors across the sky highlighting a serene sunset. But not all sunsets are equal. It makes you wonder what the ingredients are that make up the masterpiece of colors at day's end. And why do we see the colors that we see? Every night, the colors that we see are determined by the wavelength of light that can get up from below the horizon. So I came up with a little nice graphic here that shows basically us looking at the sun that's about to set. It's not setting yet though, because I have to explain what the reason is. And the position of the sun changes as you go throughout the day. At noon, it's right above you, and at sunset, it's right at the horizon. 0 degrees, it's parallel with the ground at where you're standing. But sunlight at sunset has to travel a little bit further than it does at noon to get to your eyes, and that's why you can explain colors change at the end of the night. So we'll go back to grade school a little bit and talk about the electromagnetic spectrum. Complicated word, but it just is the waves that pass by, and that's what you can see in your eyes to get light. That's why you see the rainbow, the reds, the oranges, the greens, the blues. All of those colors are different wavelengths, and when you have shorter wavelengths, you have colors more towards the end of the rainbow, the blues, the violets, and the indigos. When they're longer, they get red and orange. And when you actually have the sunset, you have shorter wavelengths, and they're impacted by particles and other kind of soot in the air, so you don't really get those kinds of colors. You only get the yellows, the reds, and the oranges. But as the sun actually sets, it goes further down the horizon, and the colors that you get to see get redder and redder and redder because the distance actually gets a little bit further. So you turn maybe 20 minutes before sunset from the yellows into, when you get to sunset, maybe it gets orange, and then 20 minutes after sunset, you get to the reds as well. So it's very interesting stuff, but that's just the basic framework. In order to paint the full picture, we need to take a little deeper look with other ways to change the sky's composition. This photo behind me was taken on a clear, stable summer evening, and while there isn't really much to see, it's just a nice sunset, but clouds actually do have a very major impact. Look at this next photo right off the coast of Long Island, as was the last photo as well, my hometown. You can see clouds do make a pretty big impact, and when there's not, it kind of just looks like a pretty nice, neat picture. When there is, it does look a little bit dull, so you need that little middle ground. And here's a photo that I took just last week in Austin town in our neighborhood, and you could see you really need that Goldilocks level of clouds, about 50% coverage, and especially towards the lower levels, you can't have a lot of coverage because then you completely get rid of the sun. So cloud coverage is a big one, but also I want to talk about the way that colors come to be, and I talked about this a little bit earlier, but this is a photo in State College that I got this past winter, just after the sunset, and you could see the hues of orange and a little bit of yellow in the skies. 11 minutes later, I took the same exact photo, and it turned much redder. So you can see, if you're a fan of a certain color, you can take, let's say you're a fan of red, you could take a photo maybe 15, 20 minutes after the sun sets. That's that prime time. If you are a fan of yellow, maybe 15 to 20 minutes before the sun sets as well. I also want to talk about soot in the sky, maybe if there's wildfires in the area, how that impacts sunsets. And this was taken by a viewer in our neighborhood as well in Columbiana. Thanks, Melanie Clark, for this photo. But in terms of these kinds of sunsets, it really overall gets the color up a little bit, but it kind of dilutes it. You could see that there's a lot of vivid colors around the sun, but there's not much abstractness to it. It kind of just is all one color and doesn't make things look really nice. So on days like that, it kind of just looks like a plain canvas there. Well, while there really aren't specific resources online available for sunset forecasting, this video should have detailed the biggest ways to get a stunning one. Understanding the day's cloud coverage, moisture, and air quality will all be important in judging if the day's sunset will be a magnificent one. As always, if you do scope out a good sunset, please make sure to take a photo and send it to us on the Storm Tracker 21 app. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Gavin Sandel.